Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to The Power is Mine. I'm your host and creator, Zhanae, and this episode is going to be called I'm Every Woman. So, you guys, I decided that I wanted to talk about my evolution of going through so many different phases in my life. And when people will say I've lived different lives, I truly feel like I could fully and honestly resonate with that because I've been in different stages and I've had to pull myself up from rock freaking bottom and see just how much I could bounce back from difficult circumstances, even when people didn't believe in me, when I didn't believe in myself, when I felt like there was no way out, because I had to start to decide that at that moment I was going to believe in myself and I was going to work my way out and I was going to make something of myself. And through those processes, I started to trust myself a lot more. And every time something would come to me that felt like it was a bad circumstance, I was like, nah, I could bounce back from this. This ain't gonna be what knocks me down. This ain't gonna be what tears me apart. And yes, I've had situations and circumstances where I was looking a fucking mess. I was down bad. I've chosen to post some situation that I went through, and through that I have I believe the word is like cathartic, but I've had a sense of like, I'm not even gonna use that word because I don't even remember how to put it in this sentence. So what am I doing? But basically, it felt healing for me on a spiritual level to be able to share that with you guys, because I realized that I was able to drop my mask and I didn't have to be perfect, and I could show people, hey, I'm going through this real thing and it's frustrating and it's difficult, but I'm going to get through it. And even though I didn't necessarily know whether something could happen or not, and in some situations I had been through similar stuff before, and that's why I was able to have that built up confidence or evidence that I could make it through. But doing it publicly was just a whole different thing, because I remember the level of shame that I carried when I was going through so many different things, and when I would feel like I was wearing a mask and trying to pretend to keep it all together and like nothing bothered me and nothing was happening. And when I decided to be public about those circumstances, man, y'all don't even know how healing that was, because at one point something clicked for me. It was just like, God, I can't keep going through this exact same type of situation without there being some meaning behind it, because I just have to believe that you wouldn't keep putting me through some shit. Either I haven't learned a lesson yet, or either I'm supposed to take what I'm going through and help somebody else through it. And that's really the thought process that I went through. And the more I started posting about things, the more I started telling my experiences, people would come to me and they would tell me, oh my God, thank you so much. They would DM me. They would be like, I appreciate you. Can I get some advice? You've helped me through this. You helped me through that. And it started to build up a level of, wow, God, I see why I kept going through these things, because you wanted me to take the strength to be able to say out loud, hey, I'm not perfect. Hey, I experienced these things. And I've had people that I know in day-to-day life tell me that they've actually experienced some of the same things, but they just would never say it to anybody. So I didn't realize how strong you actually have to be public about some stuff. And a lot of stuff, it's not the most popular thing to do, to speak on it. It's basically taboo, and people would laugh, or they would feel like, oh my God, she's dumb, or she looks a mess. And I mean, only by God's grace have I managed to turn it around and help people through it and inspire people through it, you know? But because I've faced so many different situations, I can now have empathy and understanding for people at different stages of their life and view them through what they're going through. But that doesn't mean that I'm open to letting somebody basically abuse me because they're in their survival mode at whatever stage they're at. And I mentioned in the last episode that because I can see people for who they are, sometimes I do feel sad towards them and I want to be there for them. But sometimes the space that people are in doesn't allow them to even be accepting of help. It makes them want to hurt other people. It makes them want to feel like they're taking advantage of somebody. It makes them want to think that the person that's being kind to them and is trying to help them through, that they have the upper hand, and now they feel good because they've overpowered, or like they feel like, oh yeah, I got something out of it. I got over. And it's saddening that some people go through life that way, but you just have to understand that they are that way because they are stuck in a loop of survival and brokenness. And I have been in that same space. And when I really honestly saw myself for who I was at that moment, I said, let me go through the process that I need to get myself out of here. And it took some hard work. It took some journaling. It took plenty of crying, screaming, forgiveness. But I worked my way out of that pit, and I decided that through that I wanted to start trying to help people see that they could do it too. So that journey of being accountable for how I was behaving or how I was choosing to make decisions, being honest enough with myself to say, hey, you're the cause of some of your issues, or hey, you're in this situation because of the choices you made, and it's nobody's fault but your own. You can't take it out on nobody else. You can't blame nobody else. This is your fault. And when you hit that stage of accountability, then you can be frustrated, but I feel like you could really start moving forward, because you could realize that just like you got yourself into the situation, you can get yourself out of it. So if you can jump down into a hole, as long as you don't dig yourself too far down, you can jump right the hell back out of it. And I had to understand too that there are times where I felt like I dug myself really deep down into a hole, and even still I could get out of it because I made the decision I'm going to work hard enough to manifest the life that I want to live. And manifestation isn't just writing notes or looking in the mirror and saying something, or closing your eyes and saying, oh, I wish upon a star. Manifestation is getting up off your ass and putting the work in, and sacrificing sleep, sacrificing time with family and friends, and sacrificing spending money. Just all type of different sacrifices that you got to put in to make your life become what you want it to become. And I've realized that people don't want to sacrifice in that way anymore. Every time people hear sacrifice, they think it's some like Illuminati-ish thing. And it's not that, y'all. It's deciding I'm going to put more time and energy into building the life that I want after I just got off my job. So I might not get sleep tonight, and I might wake up tired, and then I got to go right back to work. And when I get home, I'm going to put my time right back into working towards my dream life. Or it's telling yourself that, hey, I can't spend as much time with my friends or my family this month because I'm going to be locked the hell in. I can't go shopping. I can't eat out. I can't do this because I am locked in and I need to save money, or I need to invest my money. I need to be studying. I need to be watching videos or listening to podcasts on financial literacy. I need to be reading a little bit more on ways that I can create my dream life. I need to be deciding that these habits that I have are not healthy habits for me, and it's going to ruin my health in the long run. And health is wealth, because what is the one thing that a rich and sick person wishes that they had is their health, right? So health is wealth, and you have to make decisions and sacrifices on, I'm not going to eat this sweet thing today. I'm going to go to the gym today, even though my body hurts. I'm going to drink more water than I do juice. I'm going to cut back on alcohol. So those decisions ultimately can compound into a better lifestyle. But nobody wants to make those decisions on the first day or the first week or the first month or the first year. But the compounding effect of making those small decisions back to back to back will show you the difference in your life. And then every now and then you could slack a little bit, because I personally, I'm going to be honest with y'all, I am so diehard in discipline for like spurts. And then I'm gonna be like, hey, I want my chocolate cake today. I'm gonna eat my chocolate cake. I don't give a damn what y'all talking about. So when you have a level of autonomy to start making the right decisions and choosing the life you want for yourself, you have to steer it in the right direction. You have to believe that there is going to be some benefit on the end of it all for you giving up that chocolate cake, or for you deciding to go to the gym, for you drinking more water, for you spending a little bit less time socializing and deciding to build a business. You have to decide what it is that you want. And the more you pour into is the more you will have. So if you're pouring more into your social life, if you really want to build a beautiful and prosperous social life, by all means, yes. If you're pouring more into your family, then you will have a beautiful, prosperous relationship with your family. If you're pouring more into your business, you can build a better business. And what I've had to learn through my journey of it all is that sometimes I might be slacking in some parts, and I might not be a good friend, or I might not be the best family member, or I might show up to work and be tired as hell, and I might not be able to give it my all today. But ultimately, the decision is what matters more to me, and how can I become a better version of me. And sometimes that does mean appearing selfish to other people, because you've decided I'm going to pour more into my cup than I do into other people's cup. Because if my cup is empty and dry and barren, how can I pour into you if I don't have it to pour? If I have nothing for myself, how can I make your life better? And I've had to deal with family members, friendships, work environments where ultimately I had to get the pushback of, you're not giving us as much as we believe you can, because I started to pour into myself. And the more, unfortunately, it's so sad, but the more that I do better in my life is the more friends that I lose, because apparently they weren't really my friends, because they only were comfortable with me at the stage of my life where I was suffering, and where I was the butt of the joke, and where I had less money, and where I didn't look as good, and where I wasn't as healthy. And that's who they resonated with. That's who they wanted me to be, so they could be friends with me. And the better I do for myself is the less friends that I have. Because sometimes that evolution within self can trigger people's feelings of, what am I not doing in myself? And who does she think she is to be wanting better or to be doing better? It's making me look bad when people see the evolution that you're making and the evolution that I'm not making. So now you are a threat to my appearance, or to my how I'm perceived to other people. And I have been at every stage that you could possibly be at, and I will be at so many more stages, because I still have to grow and evolve and get older. But why I say that I can understand the feelings that people have is because I've been able to be the friend that wasn't as secure within themselves. I've been able to be the person that felt like they didn't know the direction they were going in their life. I've been able to be the person that wanted to hang out all the time and put off what they knew was supposed to be beneficial to their future. I've wanted to be a person that could look better, could be more flashy, and couldn't afford it. I've been a person that had to look themselves in the mirror and pour into themselves so they could be more confident. I've been a person who felt like they were alone and everybody was against them and all they had was themselves, and they had to find faith and spirituality because that was all they had to lean on. And I think people reach certain deep levels of spirituality because sometimes what you're experiencing in life is just so hard to understand and grasp that you're grasping at straws until you find your religion or your faith or your spirituality. And when you really are so alone and you start to say, let me just pray, then you believe more in God, and then you believe more in yourself. And then you say, I got this. We got this. We gonna make it out of this, And it makes your faith stronger. It makes your confidence stronger. It makes your self-belief stronger. Because when you have nothing but your faith and you're praying and you decide I'm gonna get up and work my ass off and you make your way out of a situation, now you have that evidence that next go round when something difficult comes, that you can do it again. Now, when you experience something similar or hectic still, you tell yourself, I've done this before a few times. I can do it again. And then you keep progressing and progressing and progressing. And you don't become fearless, but you become a little bit more understanding that fear is just something that is going to come and go. Fear is something that you have to give power. You have to add fuel to that fire. And if I decide that the fire that I want to add fuel to is my determination, my tenacity, my ability to bounce back from anything, opposed to I'm insecure, I don't believe in myself, I'm ugly, I can't do anything, all the negative things that people say about me are true, then you will see the results that you get from fueling that fire, opposed to fueling the fire of self-belief, trusting yourself, understanding yourself, thinking that you are attractive, thinking that you are capable, thinking that you are intelligent. So you decide what you want to give energy. I have been every woman. I have been the insecure. I have been the hopeless. I have been the angry. I have been the jealous. I have been the sad. But I also have been the confident. I have also have been the determined. I've also been the resilient. So you decide who you want to be. Nobody can make that decision for you but you. And I've seen in friendships or in family or anybody where I would try to pour that kindness into somebody and that belief into somebody, and they just don't have it because they don't want to have it. And sometimes they will end up turning on you because how dare you try to make me believe in myself when I don't believe in myself. Bitch, who do you think you are to tell me that? And then we hit this weird space of we can't be friends no more. Because the same way that you beat up on yourself, you're going to want to start beating up on me. And that's not healthy for me if I want to evolve. This is getting scary. This is getting weird. And they will start sabotaging you because the crab in the barrel mentality makes them feel like, if I'm not going to go nowhere, then you ain't going to go nowhere. And bitch, I'll be damned if the next person going to decide where I'm going to go for my life. I've overcame way too much to let you determine where I'm going to go for my life, because you've decided that where you're at is all that you want. Or you've decided that you don't want to put the work in. You've decided that you're too scared to put the work in. So do not let negative beliefs become your belief. They don't have to be. Just because somebody else has told you oh, you won't be able to do that. Maybe they believe that that's the limitation for their life. But who are you to decide that that's going to be the limitation for my life? I don't care if you're my friend, family member, coworker, stranger off the street, person commenting on my page on social media. You will not determine for my life what it's going to be. Because just like I have been the insecure, the afraid, the sad, the angry, I have been the confident, the intelligent, the resilient, the passionate. I am every woman. It's all in me. Thank you guys so much for listening. I hope that you know that you can power through everything and all the strength that you need is inside of you. And you should never give up on your dreams, ever, 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 no matter what anybody says. I'm Zhanae, and this has been The Power Is Mine. I'll see you next time.